Hey everybody, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. I'm doing a low budget video here, but I think it's important. It's some thoughts I've been trying to put together, and I think it'll be helpful and it's relevant to what's going on right now in not just comics, but like the greater world, what's going on, and that is talking about boycotts. I'm showing right now here a University of Michigan campus bus, and that's for good reason. I'll get to that. I want to show you Hunting Ground. This is Downcast Volume 4 Hunting Ground. It's live on my own website. I've had an insane headache for a week, and I'm actually feeling a lot better now, but I wanted to just touch base on this, and this is just one way that I am pivoting in putting up a campaign. I see a lot of chatter from small creators about how are they supposed to get a platform to have their comic books heard about, and how are they supposed to move forward. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, and this is one option to bypass a company refusing you service, but it's also it puts you away, I guess, from the public eye. You're sort of putting yourself out in the darkness. Having said that, the campaign's actually doing pretty well. I've been really happy with it so far. But if I go over here to Indiegogo, you can see if I put in Downcast Hunting Ground, you can see old campaigns with Downcast. You can see things that aren't Downcast related whatsoever, but what you can't see is the Downcast Hunting Ground pre-launch page, which is exactly why I created my own website to do this. So what does this have to do with boycotts? Here's, I think, the big point. If you've been watching any of what's been happening with Bud Light recently, or listening to any of the commentary from Matt Walsh in particular, he makes a compelling point about boycotts and when they should be used and why they should be used and to what ends. And something that he said is that boycotts are about getting a result. And you can't boycott every company because every company is not going to give you the results that you want. I want to share with you a personal experience has happened a long time ago. It's like 18 years ago. I don't usually get into this side of my life on my YouTube channel, but I think it's today super relevant. So I was actually a missionary for my church 18 years ago, and I served in Michigan, in the Detroit area, and also specifically on the University of Michigan campus. And on the campus, there was this bus system that was paid for by the public, and everybody had a right to ride these buses, and they would connect you to different campuses and different areas on the campus. Now you might say, well, you have to be a student to use those buses. No, you don't. They are actually public, and literally anybody could ride those buses. At least that's how it was at the time. That's how it worked. That was the system. So I went on the bus, as I often did, and I remember one day the bus driver stopped and he kicked me off the bus. He said that I was not allowed to ride the bus because of my religion. I was not able to ride a public bus. I was pretty, upset about that, and I told him, of course I can ride the bus. That's not a reason to kick me off the bus. And so I continued to go and try and ride the bus whenever I needed to. When it was that particular bus driver, I knew he would kick us off. So at one point, we actually contacted somebody in charge. It was a long time ago, forgive me, but it was somebody in charge, and they talked to the bus driver, and he said, okay, you can ride the bus, you're just not allowed to speak on the bus. Now, again, you can see where the problem is. In America, in public, this is literally a public forum. It's literally a public place by every definition. And so being able to be on a bus and being allowed to open my mouth and speak if I wanted to, and I'm not even talking about preaching or anything like that, but literally speak. He would watch, and as soon as if I opened my mouth to say, "Oh, excuse me," or "Hey, can I sit here?" or something like that, anything, he would stop the bus and kick me off. Now, there are two ways that I think you could approach this. One, I could have said, you know what, I'm boycotting the Michigan bus system and I'm not going to ride the bus. That will show them. And in this case, the bus driver would actually get exactly what he wants, and that's me to not be on the bus. It's crazy when I tell the story. I think about how insane that is. But he would actually get what he wants because I wouldn't be there. And what does he lose? Well, whatever it is that he had against me, I guess, is no longer his problem, right? Two would be to insist that I have every right to ride the bus, and I'm going to continue to go and ride that bus because I have a right to ride the bus. Now, depending on what your goal is, and in my case, it would be, hey, I want to be able to have transportation. Not only that, but I think setting the precedence that if you worship like I do, you're not allowed to ride public transportation. I think that's messed up. It's wrong, and so it would be more effective for me to insist that I am able to ride that bus because I am following the rules that everyone else follows. Right? There would of course be some conduct rules, I'm sure, on a bus. Things I couldn't shout fire. I couldn't. There's probably a number of things no one could do on a bus, but I shouldn't have a set of rules that are special for me. And so by continuing to show up at the bus stop to ride the bus, I actually think I was, that was almost a form of activism, but you're going to make more of a difference by insisting that you belong there too, and that you're not some kind of different, extreme, or unique thing. You are just like everybody else, and you have a right to access this platform, right? So in another instance, I could say, hey, if all of us students got together and we boycotted this bus system, then they'd be forced to listen to us. And I think in the case of Bud Light, perhaps that is actually the case, and there is a result happening because of that boycott. So I don't want to surprise any of you, but if I'm thinking about Kickstarter and when or how or why it ought to be used or not used or boycotted or anything, the question comes up again. If you are kicked off of Kickstarter because you violated their terms of service and their terms of service are not fair, and they specifically target you for political reasons or for any other reason that is not fair, then that actually makes a really big public stink. It gets a lot of attention. There's actually, already a precedence set for that it gets people upset. They're paying attention. They're watching Kickstarter for interactions of kicking people off the bus, so to speak. What's happening right now on Indiegogo is affecting a lot of, it almost seems like primarily small creators, and that's, that can be upsetting for a lot of reasons. But what they're doing is so nefarious that you can't actually point to it and say out loud, hey, look at what Indiegogo is doing. They're refusing me from their platform because of these number of reasons. They're actually not giving reasons. They're just making it impossible for your campaign to show up. And so what's the solution to this? I think honestly, if you're a small creator, you got to go with your gut, and there's probably some risks involved. This is just doing it your own way without without them being able to gatekeep you. But the second option, frankly, would be to ask the question, is Kickstarter a bust? And am I giving them exactly what they want by not going on Kickstarter? Or am I hurting them with a boycott? Is it being effective, and is it doing something against them? And at this point in time, and frankly, I think for a number of years, it's more like this instance of a bus and not being allowed to ride the bus than it is like Budweiser and having some kind of, you know, effect that it makes it newsworthy. People are talking about it. It's hitting them financially, anything like that. I just, I just don't think they're the same thing. Um, so, what would be the principled stance? Well, the principled stance would be, hey, any one of us should not be kicked off a platform for unfair reasons, right? Nobody should be have a special set of rules that they have to live by in order to function in this world like everyone else. That's the principle. The route that you're going to go to make that point, um, frankly, I think is up for debate. So anyway, my decisions moving forward is I'm here to make comics and I want to do my best to make comics happen. And I'm going to use whatever platforms I can have access to in order to get there, because ultimately, it's not about riding the bus per se, it's about getting to the destination. And that's more what I'm concerned about. So I hope that all makes sense. Thank you very much. And by the way, the story ends. I actually did get an apology from the president of the university at the time, a written apology, and I was able to continue riding the bus. So it was a matter of weeks before it got resolved. But at the end of the day, um, yeah, we deserve to be treated the same. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Back downcast, and I'll see you in the next video.